Coming up, Kazakh-made QazVac vaccine is qualified as halal. The experts got acquainted with the vaccine production process and confirmed its quality and safety. How to become an investor. Famous foreign business people will discuss the manual on the use of special tools in the IAFC during the week. How does Umai Lullaby sound like? An exhibition dedicated to the goddess of women and children has opened in the capital. COVID-19 cases are showing a declining trend across Kazakhstan. The country reported 1,717 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours. Almaty continues to account for the highest single-day caseload in the country. The southern metropolis detected 429 new cases. The Kazakh capital of Nur-Sultan is in the second place with 288 new infections. Karaganda region follows with 179 new cases. Since the beginning of the pandemic, total COVID-19 cases in Kazakhstan have neared 893,000. According to Kazakh Health Ministry, over 59,000 residents continue to receive treatment for coronavirus. Of them, more than 10,000 people are in inpatient care. To date, over 6,671,000 Kazakh citizens have been fully vaccinated against the dangerous virus with 2 doses. Kazakh-made vaccine QazVac received the halal certification, reported the Scientific Research Institute for Biological Safety Problems. Representatives of the Spiritual Administration of Muslims of Kazakhstan, technologists and health workers visited the biopharmaceutical plant and thoroughly got acquainted with the technological process of the vaccine production. They concluded that the medicine is of high quality and safe. QazVac is effective against the Delta strain. Scientists conducted a neutralization reaction test, which showed a high level of antibodies in those immunized with the Kazakh-made vaccine. Global COVID-19 cases near 235 million, while the death toll exceeds 4 million. The United States remains the worst-hit country in the pandemic in terms of the number of infected. India is in the second place, while Brazil is in the third. According to the data compiled by Johns Hopkins University, since the beginning of the pandemic, total coronavirus cases in the US have passed 43 million, while COVID-19-related fatalities have exceeded 700,000. According to local media reports, these numbers are especially upsetting for public health leaders and frontline medical workers, since coronavirus vaccines are available to everyone. To date, 70 million eligible US residents remain unvaccinated. Almost 87% of Malaysia's adult population has been vaccinated against COVID-19. Immunization has recently become mandatory for civil servants. Since September, the country also began vaccinating adolescents. In recent months, Malaysia has seen a decline in infection rates. In this regard, the authorities plan to lift most of the coronavirus restrictions already in October. International flights will be fully resumed once 90% of the country's adult population is inoculated. In the meantime, an outbreak of a Delta variant of COVID-19 in New Zealand is getting out of control. New cases of infection were detected in Auckland's neighboring regions. Residents of the country's largest city have been isolated due to an increase in infection rate since mid-August. To date, over 1,300 infections have been identified there.
2 cases of COVID-19 have been identified today beyond the Auckland boundary. The 2 cases are connected to one another, but at this stage we have not connected them to our Auckland outbreak. Ministers have agreed to move these areas into level 3 restrictions.
According to indicators of the past 4 years, Kazakhstan increased its gas exports to China 5 times due to the launch of the main gas pipeline. Sales volume amounted to 1.5 billion cubic meters of natural gas in 2017 and 7.3 billion in 2020. In the future, experts say sales are expected to grow up to 10 billion cubic meters. Last year, Kazakhstan sold a little more than 3 billion cubic meters of gas in addition to China. Kazakhstan occupies the 3rd place among the CIS countries in terms of natural gas reserves. Karashaganak, Kashagan, and Tengiz projects provide over 75% of gas. The reserves of these fields account for 68% of all explored deposits. In the coming years, the country will also increase the processing of gas. Large projects in Atara and Mangostau regions are being implemented for this. how and where to invest the savings to get dividends. International and domestic experts will help gain insight into this matter. The World Investor Week kicked off in Nur-Sultan. Over 20 experts from around the world will speak at the virtual platform of the Astana International Financial Center. They will talk about investment opportunities, tools and tricks, as well as innovations in the industry. Anyone who wants to learn about the profitable methods can join the online broadcast on the official website of the AIFC. Last year, over 3,000 people attended lectures by industry professionals. This time, the program includes 17 events, including webinars, social media live streaming, and panel discussions.
Мы проводим это мероприятие уже 4-й год под эгидой международной организации.
We have been hosting this event for the 4th year under the auspices of the International Organization of Securities Commissions. It's a global regulator that brings together all the regulators of the stock markets. This week we want to hold events to highlight the trends we have seen over the past year. The first is the level of financial literacy, which is still very low globally. International organizations estimate that half of the adult population needs to improve their financial literacy.
Организация ОЭСР оценивает, что около половины взрослого населения все равно им необходимо повышать свою финансовую грамотность.
The Pavilion of Kazakhstan occupies one of the largest areas at the World Expo 2020 in Dubai, more than 3,000 square meters. It consists of 3 floors. Visitors can get acquainted with the country's tourism potential, its picturesque nature, nomadic history, culture, traditions, as well as the economic potential. Nearly 8 billion tenge were allocated for the construction of the pavilion. The organizers noted that these funds will fully pay off in investments. On December 1st, a large investment forum is planned to be held as part of the National Day of Kazakhstan. It is expected to be attended by major business people of the Middle East. A total of more than 30 business events will take place, at the end of which cooperation agreements will be signed.
На базе павильона запланирована насыщенная деловая программа.
A rich business program is planned at the pavilion. For example, the business program of Kazakhstan will start with a Green Week that is held under the auspices of the International Center for Green Technologies of the relevant ministry. Days of regions, districts and cities of Kazakhstan will take place as well.
Регионов, областей Казахстана, городов.
Well, my best friend is from Kazakhstan, so I have heard of it before, but I'd never actually seen that there's so much nature. So for me, this was a first.
Public councils have reviewed over 20,000 regulatory documents in 5 years. More than 2,000 of them were returned for revision, stated Kazakh Vice Minister of Information and Social Development Bolat Tlepov at a press briefing. Thanks to the institution of public councils, the shortcomings of documents that directly affect the lives of citizens were identified in a timely manner, he said. The fact that the heads of state bodies have now begun reporting to the public councils also plays a major role in effective governance.
Жыл сайын түрлі деңгейдегі 1000 мемлекеттік лауазым иелері қоғамдық кеңестер алдында.
Every year, 1,500 civil servants report to public councils. This has provided an opportunity to obtain answers to questions that have risen. Over the past 5 years, more than 1,000 studies have been conducted as part of public monitoring of the quality of public services. And more than 2,000 questions have been raised as a result of open debates on the most pressing issues for all. And all this is the result of the great work of our active citizens who can always deliver a proposal. This is a real victory for civil society as a whole.
Мінберден көтеріп ұсынысын жеткізе білетін біздің белсенді азаматтарымыздың қоғамдық негізде ақысыз атқарған үлкен еңбегінің жемісі.
The Trails of Nomads expedition is studying the heritage of the Qasim Khanate. It existed on the territory of Russia in the 15th century. The Khanate received the name of its founder, Qasim, son of Qazan Khan Ulugh Muhammad. During the existence of the ancient empire, it was ruled by 14 people from the Genghis Khan clan. Oraz Muhammad Undanullah was among them. A memorial plaque was erected at his burial site. According to historical data, he was a descendant of Jibek Khan, one of the founders of the Kazakh-made.
Ол кісінің ойында болды Қасым хандығын жеке Ресейге бағынбайтын.
He wanted to secede from Russia and turn the Qasim Khanate into a separate, independent state. Perhaps for this reason, he contacted the first false Dmitry and the second false Dmitry, and later sided with them. The second false Dmitry suspected Oraz Muhammad of treason and ordered to kill him.
Байқаған Ілже Дмитрий екінші тапсырма беріп өзінің жендеттеріне Oraz Мұхаммедті өкінішке орай қаза таптырады.
The tower is the only surviving object since the times of the Qasim Khanate. It is more than 20 meters long. The remains of some of the Khanate's rulers are buried there, and the plain near the city once served as a cemetery. The mausoleum is proof of that. The gravestones of 5 people were found there. One of them belongs to Kazakh chronicler Joly.
В 2022 году, я думаю, что мы уже войдем в программу.
I think that in 2022 we will already be included in the restoration program, because these are monuments not only, say, of federal significance, but also of our neighborly Kazakh nation. Not only Qasim Khan is buried here, but also representatives of the Kazakh Khanate.
Но и представители казахского ханства.
The Days of Belarusian Culture were held in Kazakhstan. As part of the event, Belarusian cinema screenings were held in Nur-Sultan. The film Fate of Saboteur opened the first day of the program. In total, 13 movies were presented to the Kazakh audience. These films are distinguished by a special spirit and kindness, as well as the professionalism and novelty the organizers describe. Such Days of Cultures have already become traditional.
Мы стартуем с Дней кино Беларуси. Будет представлено 3 дня.
We start with the Days of Belarusian cinema. A large number of feature and animation films will be presented in the course of 3 days, including about the Great Patriotic War, defeat of partisans, the post-war period, and reconstruction. We hope that Kazakh viewers will enjoy watching these movies and will get to know the culture of Belarus better through the film industry.
На эти дни кино и, соответственно, поближе познакомиться через киноиндустрию с культурой Беларуси.
As part of the Days of Belarusian Culture, the National Museum of Kazakhstan hosted the exhibition entitled Modern Belarus Through the Eyes of Artists. 35 oil paintings reveal the beauty and color of the Belarusian land to the fullest extent. The exhibition covers all parts of the country. At first glance, the subjects of the paintings are quite simple, such as rivers, trees, fields, houses, and temples. However, the inner message of each work is the theme of eternity. All cities were built around rivers. We have a lot of greenery and beautiful landscapes in our country. We presented 4 seasons at the exhibition: spring, autumn, winter, and summer. Mostly all artists are young. A lot of preferences are now given to young people. We hold many plein air events. I'm very glad that we have friendly relations between our countries. I think we should strengthen and develop them further. As Belarusian embassy noted, the Days of Kazakh culture are now expected next year as a return visit. An exhibition of a young Kazakh artist, Dinara Kadyrova, opened in the library of the first president of Kazakhstan. The exposition was entitled Umai Lullaby, where Umai is the goddess of fertility who protects women and children, the joy of motherhood and the happiness of childhood. At the same time, the artist's work distinctly portrays the traditional culture of Kazakh people. This is the first personal exhibition of the talented master, which displays dozens of unique paintings.
Я начала создавать свои авторские работы, когда я стала мамой.
I began creating my own work of art when I became a mother. Before that, I was a student and then I worked in a field of design. It was motherhood that inspired me to come back, first of all to painting, because I gained so much energy, love, gratitude, and I began looking on life in a different way. You see so much beauty.
Сегодняшняя выставка «Колыбельная Умай» — это
Today's exhibition, Umai Lullaby, is the result of many years of searching by the very young and interesting author Dinara Kadyrova. She's an artist from the city of Almaty who, at the same time, has a very big list of achievements. Once, she was among talented children and met with the former Kazakh president Nursultan Nazarbayev. She's a laureate of many awards, but nevertheless, she devoted herself to motherhood. She's the mother of 3 boys. It was the first time for her separating from them to open this exhibition.
Она является мамой 3 мальчиков. И она впервые с ними рассталась для того, чтобы открыть эту выставку.
The exhibition was organized as part of the Cultural Code of Independence project. According to the experts of the library, this way they show the works of unique authors who form a recognizable code of Kazakhstan. The entrance to the exhibition is free.